Let's do a college football preview for October the 8th, 2005. I'm going to give you a free play for today we're going to focus on. Also, we'll do some educational content right here at the front, be a relatively short video. I'll give you that free play in a second. My name is MGCovers. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. One thing I want to remind you, if you don't follow me on Instagram, I have something called Free Fridays. I give out all my plays for via the model. On Instagram, we had Detroit NHL. We gave that one away. That was a winner. And also we had a lean on North Carolina via the college football model. And that's going to lead us into what we're going to talk about today. Link in the description to follow me on Instagram. And one other announcement to make, we've had a ton of growth on Substack. I teach sports betting modeling via Substack, very inexpensive to join, $29 a month. If you want to subscribe, there's some free content over there as well if you just want to check it out before you join or whatever. So link for that in the description as well. Let's talk some college football. I want to pull up this slate here via bookmakersreview.com and talk about a few of these games. Okay, one trend that I'm seeing in college football, I don't know if it's a trend, but something to take note. You have, if you follow me on Instagram, I've talked about this a lot. Basically what college football now is the entire market is made up of free agents. So an entire roster can almost completely turn over from season to season. So what does that mean? That means it may take teams a while to, quote, improve and get better. So you'll see teams with a poor record that are going to improve late in the season. You can find a ton of value with them. UCLA, an excellent example. They upset Penn State when they were undefeated. They turned around last week, upset Michigan State. Both of those were on the road. And then if you look down here now against Maryland, they are back home, but actually favored at 2-4 against a 4-2 Maryland team. And I do believe there's some value in that one as well. And if you look just in front of that, you take a look at Hawaii and Colorado State. Hawaii is 5-2, Colorado State 2-4 with a big win last week. And you actually have Colorado State as the favorite. So market did adjust some. I do believe there's a little bit of value on both of those games with Colorado State and Air Force. That's not our official free play, but I do want to mention that when you look through college football, especially maybe around week 3 or 4 was when you found a tremendous amount of value. So just because a team hasn't won a game or a team is 2-4 doesn't mean they're, quote, a bad team. That's why form is very important, and form can change very quickly in college football, meaning sometimes instead of looking at the year-to-date record, you might want to look at the last 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks max to see how that team's performed. They might even have lost those 3 games, but maybe covered those 3 and were competitive despite what their record is. So definitely pay attention to that. The game we're going to look at, let's pull this up, is going to be UNLV and Boise State. Dan Mullen, one of my favorite coaches in college football, was formerly at Mississippi State and Florida, is now at UNLV, has totally transformed this program. They're off to a great start. They are 6-0, playing Boise State on the road. Boise State is -13, opened at 10.5, so the line has moved in favor of Boise State. I do believe there is a ton of value on UNLV. I think the market is sort of overcorrecting because they realize, like, hey, this might be a class difference. This might be UNLV's best opponent they've played all year. However, if you look at UNLV's schedule, now, this team is very offense-oriented. They can score a ton of points. They had a shootout last week at Air Force, won that one 51-48. Wyoming, you can see there, 31-17, beat Miami of Ohio. And they do have a pretty good win. Now we realize this win that they had back September 6th was actually a pretty decent win over UCLA, 30-23, Sam Houston State, Idaho State, pretty much some D-class teams. Now, Boise State has had a loss to, let's see if we can pull this up. They've lost to Notre Dame and lost to South Florida, the first game of the season. They also had a shootout with Air Force. So really, this really comes down to, can Boise State score points? Because you're getting 13 points in this particular one. Do you play it on the money line? Do you take the points? I think the safe play is to take the points. And if you remember I made a YouTube short. This was on a video I think I made last week. You never want to play a team, at least the way I handicap, unless you feel like that team can win. Because if you say to yourself, this team is probably going to lose, then there's generally about a 75% chance they're not going to cover. So you only want to play teams that you think can actually have the potential to win outright. And in this particular situation, I think UNLV does have a chance to win outright. If you were going to play it, the smart play would be obviously to take the points here at +13. And that's probably what we'll end up doing with me. But then again, if you're up, maybe we have a huge day on the front end of these games. They're going off. We have a pretty good slate going off at 12-1. If we're up, we might do what I call a free roll and wager small on the money line, maybe 1/10 unit, 1/5 unit for UNLV. I think you can get the money line at like plus 400 at some places. So that's an idea as well, or maybe a combination of both. If you're wagering a full unit, you maybe put 3/4 of a unit on the taking the points, and then maybe like a quarter unit on the money line. But definitely feel like there's a ton of value here with UNLV. Greatly appreciate you guys watching this video. Good luck and talk to you guys soon. Peace.